And I was always scared to just go out and adventure. And I'm like, dude, there was kids in high school selling the Kool-Aid worm packets for like $1. You know what I mean? Like, that's a hustler's mentality from the jump. Like, we all need that.
I wish I would have started selling pot earlier. Instead of waiting to college, I should have been in high school. Welcome to the zoo. I'm here with my peeps, Nikki P and AK, Anna Karen. Don't call her Karen, she's Anna Karen. Why don't you just start going by Anna?
I used to. Yeah, it was funny. Okay, I mean, are we gonna go into the big deal?
Before we do the big deal, let's explain.
I was gonna say, I went as Anna for a long time, where it's like Anita, right? And then in high school, I was like, I'm gonna change my name to Karen because I want to be cool, right?
But is your middle name?
No, it's one word. And then I was like, you know what? Forget the Karen. So then I just did AK afterwards.
I like AK.
Yeah, okay. AK works.
But
don't do Karen.
You were motivated and disciled in how you handled your name, the evolution of your name, right?
There was a process. There was a rollout.
That brings us to today's big deal. Are you officially Millennial or Gen Z?
I think I'm on the cusp.
Yeah, you're a cusper.
Yeah, I was born in '95.
So do Millennials and Gen Z, they get a bad rap about being disciplined and having motivation? Dude, I mean, is this what they say about every generation? I mean, I'm on the cusp between Gen X and Millennial. I remember, hearing, slackers and
of course, after the baby boomers, right?
Yeah. So I mean, do you guys think that Millennials and Gen Zers are getting a bad rap, or is it true that they do lack discipline and motivation compared to past generations?
I think we're tired. I'm tired now.
Tired of what? Social media?
I'm tired right now, man. Life is hard. I didn't choose this life. It chose me.
It's so funny because I do agree with you that they do say that about every generation, right? That they're not as motivated. But I also feel like this is the worst iteration because it's exactly right. We are tired, but we actually work. There's a lot of people. What are you tired from? Playing Fortnite? Are your thumbs tired? What are you so?
Yeah, the thumbs are evolving, low key, and the little back of the neck too.
Dude, I have issues with my neck. I can't be looking at now. I have to look at my phone like this. Because I can't keep looking down. But anyway,
you know what happened to me? I went to the Juanes concert, right? And they gave me the media pass. So I was taking pictures of him at the pit. And I was like, all right, let me take some good angles. And I'm over here like, let me stand up. 2 photos in, my back started cramping up. I'm like, yo, I'm only 26. And then I sat back down and my knees were popping.
You're screwed.
I feel like we're coming, there's a lot of, I don't know, like advanced institutions or countries, I feel like a lot of the European countries, give you PTO. Like there's a work-life balance.
Right.
And I feel like, I don't know, for me here, I see that there isn't so much of that work-life balance. And it's like you're expected to grind like 9 to 5. That's an industrial era thing,
True.
That's not relevant today. And even when you consider like people can work from home, they don't have to be sitting down all the time.
Right.
Like I think we're just looking for a different pace of life. And it's so like mundane to continue this like 9 to 5, work 65 years, then retire, then go on a trip.
So you're on the cusp. I'm a millennial. Do you feel that people in our generation they don't go I know so many people that are millennials. They're like, I would never work for free. You're not, and especially in this business.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Like they come in high and mighty and
right,
don't want to
I feel like they're more entitled than previous generations.
Entitled, I'm talking about whether it's discipline or motivation, but entitled is the accusation that like older generations talk about, or even millennials themselves say, I feel like my generation's entitled. It's because you talk about industrialized nations, like we have a lot of like privileges and we have a lot of, there's a lot of automation and stuff. You don't have to take, certain jobs.
Yeah, certain things are facilitated, right?
A lot of millennials today, they think they're above. Like my first job was working at a movie theater, and I had to like clean up trash and stuff like that.
Oh, that was your first job?
And so, do you think that millennials don't understand that you still gotta, you might be able to reinvent how you work and have more of a balance as you grow up. But in the beginning, you still kind of have to pay your dues and do hard stuff you don't want to do.
I do agree with that.
I think a lot of it too is that more people are going to college now more than ever.
Right.
So a lot of people, because they have a degree, they do feel entitled to a certain job, and that because they have a degree, that certain jobs are beneath them, which is also like not how you build your way up.
Right.
That was a belief, right? But then now you're coming to a point where you can have your master's and still earn minimum wage.
Honestly, I think college is a scam. I think college is a scam. Unless you're a doctor, an engineer, or a rocket scientist, a lawyer, there's so much. Like for instance, I have a degree in journalism and communications. Yeah, so do you?
Educated Latino.
And you?
No, I'm just applauding. You're an educated Latino.
It's got me nowhere.
It was nowhere. If I could go back in time, I would have told myself to just move out to LA at 18, 19 and start right away.
Be an entrepreneur.
This diploma in communications means nothing.
Yeah.
It means that I got through school.
Right.
And I understood how to like navigate the bureaucracy of like a college education. But it's like, I didn't learn anything new about writing and communicating.
Talk about lack of motivation then. Because you're like, why do I even go to school if that's the outcome? You know what I mean?
Well, I will say this about millennials and Gen Zers. Because of social media and the internet and so much stuff that they can do online themselves, there is a significant block of them that do hustle and try to figure out how to create. I mean, you have 20-something-year-old kids that are creating brands online, innovating and stuff like that.
Such a stark difference, right? You either like lack motivation or you're like a Mark Zuckerberg who owns Facebook at such a young age. You know, like it's just like,
And he didn't graduate from college, by the way. He realized it was a waste of time. He dropped out of Harvard.
And true people, like, it's a piece of paper. You know what I mean? Like, I have a communications degree. I might as well have majored in macaroni jewelry.
That's what I absolutely agree.
It's what you put into it, though, is what you get out of it.
I think that's what I learned. I wish I would have gotten that, like, entrepreneurial
spirit.
First you have to learn how to say
mindset. And, you know, I was always scared to just go out and adventure. And I'm like, dude, there was kids in high school selling the Kool-Aid worm packets for, like, $1. You know what I mean? Like, that's a hustler's mentality from the jump. Like, we all need that.
I wish I would have started selling pot earlier. Instead of waiting to college, I should have done it in high school.
The one regret in life.
Oh my gosh. But Nikki, as a comedian, you gotta grind.
You have to grind.
There is no comedian that doesn't make it without going through a period where you're doing 4, 5, 6 nights a week, regardless of how big the show is.
And it's not glamorous, especially when you start. You know, you're playing bars and places. I performed in places where there was rats that would run across the floor while I was on stage. And it was a light audience that night, so I was grateful just to have any extra living thing in the crowd. But especially, I think in anything in entertainment, like what you put into it in that grind is what you get out of it. And you have to wanna do the work. I know people who said, do the work, but you really do have to do the work, especially if you're a millennial. Because when you're young, that's when the iron's hot. I wish I would have started working, I wish my mom was Dina Lohan. And I started working from the crib.
Right. You know what I do tell my brothers, because one of them is going to college, right? I'm like, dude, everything in life is hard. Choose your hard. You know?
Wow, even the wisdom of AK. And if it's easy, the reward is probably not that.
Exactly.
You know.
Or it's hard because, okay, maybe it's like you want to be like an artist and then it doesn't pay. Okay, so then what's hard about it? The financial aspect of it. Or you want to be an engineer. What's hard about it? The academic aspect. Like everything is some type of hard. Just choose your heart and go with it.
I think it's like realistically identifying what you want. And not being in the fantasy, being in the reality, and working backwards. This is what I want, and working backwards to the steps that it takes to get there.
And be willing to sacrifice certain things, whether it's time, whether it's paying your dues one way or the other.
Your waistline.
You know,